Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all my dear students. Welcome back to Subject English Class 5. Today once again we continue with the chapter Prepositions in our Grammar Get. Now students, first of all, I like to revise you that we have learned in our last video the definition of prepositions and prepositions of place. Now before we revise it, first of all open your textbook, take your textbook Grammar Get and open page number 74. In our previous video we have seen prepositions of place. So before move to prepositions of time, I would like to revise you that in prepositions of place we have learned also in, on and at. In that we have learned that in we can use when we think of a place as an area. Then we have learned that at we have to use when we are think place as a point, at the station, at the bus stop, at the traffic lights. Then we have learned on that when we think about the place as a surface, on the stool, on the floor. Even we have learned that in we have to use with the roads and streets, and at with the number of house. For the number of floor we have to use on, but at we have to use when the numbers of house are given to you. The numbers of houses are given to us, that time we have to use at. For the floor numbers we have to use on. This we have learned in prepositions of place. Today we'll see prepositions of time. So students, open at page number 75 and look at on that page. Prepositions of time. In, on, at. In prepositions of place also we have learned in, on and at. Now once again in prepositions of time, we have to use how to use in, on, at, that we learn. We use at for hours of the day. For the time, for hours of the day. For the clock time, we have to use at. For example, at 8 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, at 9:45. So students, here you have to remember that at we have to use for hours of the day, for clock time. We have to use at. We use on for days and dates. To mention day and to mention date, we have to use on. For example, on Sunday is a day. On 25th March is a date. On that day means in particular day it's not given, but you are just recalling that day, so that time also we have to use on. We use in for parts of the day. Now look at here, for whole day and date we have to use on, but for part of the day we have to use in. Here we use on Sunday. But look at here, in the morning, in the evening, it's a part of, suppose it's a part of Sunday. In the morning, in the evening. But we cannot say this in the night. For night we have to use at. So remember students, at we can use for the clock time and at we can use to mention night also. So while mentioning the parts of the day, in the evening, in the afternoon, in the morning, but while mentioning night time we have to use at night. Now look at here, but we say at night. We use on for a part of the day plus day and date. Yes, earlier we have seen only for the day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, we have to use on. But with this day, if you are saying the part of the day too, so that time you have to use on. Part of the day we are using in the afternoon, in the morning, at night. But here, while mentioning both together, that time you have to use on. On Sunday morning, on Tuesday afternoon, on the evening of 10th June, date and part of the day. So, to mention this date and day with part of the day, that time we have to use only on. We use in for months, seasons, and years. In October, month. In summer, season. In 2009, years. So, to mention month, season, and years, we have to use in prepositions. We use at in the following expressions: at the weekend, at weekends, at the moment, at that time, at any time. Yes. Suppose that you are saying on Friday, or for the day like on Christmas, on Eid day. But if we have more holidays of Eid rather than one, if 3 days holidays there, so for that you have to use at Christmas, at Eid. Only one day, that time you have to use on. But if you are talking about the whole holidays period, 2-3 days period, so that time you have to use at weekends, at the weekend, at the moment, at that time. So students, I hope it's clear to you. When you are talking about only one day, that time you have to use on. But you are talking about 2-3 days together, that time you have to use at. We use in plus period of time in the future. So when you are talking about the period of time in the future, so that time you have to use in preposition with it. Now, with the chart we can understand better the prepositions of time. So let's see that chart. Look at this chart, look at this table. Prepositions of time. At, in, on. At we have to use when we are talking about some precise times. 10:30 a.m. at 10:30 a.m. At 8 o'clock. At bedtime, at breakfast. Yes, for the meal time also we have to use at. At dinner, at lunch, at breakfast. So to say about clock time, to say about meal time, we have to use at. Now next, in. To mention about the month, years, decades, centuries, and long periods of time. Decades means 10 years and centuries means 100 years, or we can say short long period of time. So to mention about these all things we have to use in 16 years time is a long period of time, so for that we have to use in. Then in 1991 is showing years, in December is showing month. So for month, year, centuries, long periods of time, we have to use in. And the last one, on. On is used for days and dates. On a summer evening, on Christmas Day, on Christmas, on Friday, on Monday, on Wednesday. And one thing you have to remember here, that if there is a more than one holiday, 2, 3, 4, etc. So for that you have to use at. So students, I hope it's clear to you prepositions of time. It's very easy, try to understand it, and if you have any doubts related these, you can write in the comment box. So now let's move to the next point, next preposition, which is also on the same page. Prepositions of moment. These prepositions show movement. The sentences will show the difference between the given prepositions. Yes, here you can see the movement, and these sentences are showing you some differences in the given prepositions. Now look at in and into. What's the difference between these two? She dived into the water. Simone is swimming in the water. Now look at she dived into the water. Now look at the difference between into and in. Simone is swimming in the river. Here you are saying about the water, into the water. It's inside the water. And here you are not mentioning that water, you are saying about river, pond, etc. In the river, in the pond, in the swimming pool. So that time you have to use in, but you are mentioning the particular that things, water, that time you have to use into. Now next, up, down and through. The sun has gone down the horizon. The sun has gone down the horizon. Pass the thread through the eye of the needle, then it would be ready to use. Through the eye, you have seen needle. So, there is a one hole. So you written, pass the thread through the eye of the needle. Here the word is using eye of the needle for that hole. So you have to pass thread from it, through it. So here you have to use the preposition through the eye of the needle, because both sides you can see after thread. So that time you have to use the word through instead of from or any other word. And the next one, across, along. Use the zebra crossing to walk across the road. To cross the road, across the road, you have to see the signal, zebra crossing, to walk across the road. Both sides. If you want to go here from this side, so first you have to see the signal, then you have to cross across the road from one side to another side. To reach one side to another side, we have to use the word across. I like a nice flower design along the border of the postcard. Means I like that flower design along the border of the postcard. So students, you have to remember these, where to use in, into, up, down, through, across, along, prepositions of place and prepositions of time. In the next video also, once again, I explain everything. I revise you everything. Then we move to the prepositions of position. So students, if you have any doubts related to this, you can write in the comment box, so I can solve it in the next video. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.